So welcome to Greenock Recording's latest Q&A with our community chef Ian. Over the next hour or so, we're going to hear his top tips, recipe ideas to keep us busy in the kitchen while we're all trapped at home. And he's also going to answer some questions that are going to be put to him by Mandy and Ali, who are also joining us. So I'll hand over to Ian now. Hello, Ian.
Hi.
How have you been cooking today?
I will cooking food for delivery tomorrow, so like 80 meals to go out to the elderly and that people that are involved in Greenock already. So it's been busy the last few days. Right, thanks for joining us, Mandy and Ali. Who wants to go first? First hand in the air goes first.
I've got one question, and that's the only one I really thought I'd have.
You don't have to have much, just go for it.
I can't get self-raising flour. What do I add to my plain flour that I've got to make it self-raising?
Well, it depends really what you're making. The immediate thing is like
Well, say a sponge, a cake.
A cake. Baking powder.
I don't have baking powder.
You don't have baking powder.
I've got bicarbonate soda. I believe that's stronger than baking powder.
No, it's got different flavour aspects to it. It will help to make things rise, but you'd struggle to make a nice sponge baking soda. Flour is becoming certainly more readily available now, though. If you've got chocolate, you can maybe make chocolate brownies. There's other cakes.
Well, that's plain flour, isn't it?
You can use
brownies, yeah.
Yep, so that's butter, sugar, chocolate, flour, eggs.
Right, yeah.
So you might just have to find an alternative.
Yeah, I think so.
Alec?
Could you not do like a gluten-free, so you wouldn't need flour necessarily?
For gluten-free kind of cakes, you need gluten-free flour.
Could you not like use crushed up sort of almonds or anything? You know, like sort of nuts and sort of crush them or something.
Oh, you can
to make a flour.
Make oat flour, I think.
Yeah.
With oats, I believe.
You certainly can. You need a really, really effective food processor. One costs like a good few £100. I've never even owned one that does that, even in my professional career in commercial kitchens. I mean, certainly you can adapt your recipes. I mean, if you've not got self-raising flour, if you've not got baking powder, then you're going to struggle to make a sponge. But you're right, you can make things like rocky roads and things like that if it's just a sweet treat you're looking for. And cookies, that's another one. That's you can use plain flour with that, and a bit of bicarb actually makes cookies quite nice. Keeps them a wee bit chewy. So there's plenty of sweet treats that you can make, but a nice sponge would be tricky without the.
Well, actually, my daughter was on the phone this morning to say that well, there's only 3 of us, so I'll say it. Grain and Sustain and Burnt Island's got flour in today. So we've already put an order in, so get yourself down to Burnt Island.
Quite a few shops now, like even Morrison's, they've started. There's always been flour out there. The problem has been that nobody's been able to repackage it into like smaller quantities.
Yeah.
But now, like Morrison's are using their bakery section to actually decant it.
That's good.
There's quite a few shops. Usually the smaller shops tend to seem to have some flour at hand. But I think we're over the worst in respect of supplies being available now. There's a few shortages, but I think overall we're most things are available.
Good.
Is there any other aspects of cooking that you're struggling with? No? Right, Ali? Got them?
I'm trying to think. I wasn't prepared to be asking questions. I was just going to observe. I'm just trying to think. I mean, one thing I was sort of going to be setting.
Go for it, sorry.
Yeah. One thing I was sort of thinking of setting some of my volunteers and our sort of community was doing like the 5 ingredient challenge. So obviously people's cupboards might be limited. So what have you got and what can you make? So I did an example. I had sweet potatoes, some onions, and I did like a curry with 5 ingredients. So it was like going to set the challenge to the community, saying, what have you made that's yummy but with very little? Or are you struggling? And give us the ingredients and we'll try and come up with some sort of recipes. I don't know if you've done anything along those sort of lines.
We have and are doing things along the lines. A lot of the recipes, we're starting to put blogs out there with sort of recipes with maybe wee videos that go along with them. And it's keeping it to a sort of restricted sort of amount of ingredients. As I say though, things are returning a little bit back to normal. So people haven't got that much restrictions. But what I do try to do is maybe make recipes that maybe do require more ingredients, but you can do them with less, if you like. So it's adapting rather than minimising what you actually put in the dishes. There's quite a few things out there that, like even like the cooked rice and cooked lentil products, like things like that are more readily available. I was focusing on at the early stages of this kind of stage that we're at. But most recipes can be adapted, and I think that's a skill that people need to try and sort of pick up. If you've not got something, you can maybe change your ingredient or maybe move it out. Did you think one day?
I actually have something, because I bet and bought this pack that you send away and it gives you everything, all the spices you need to make stuff. And it's mainly curries. Right. And one of them I've got, and I read the recipe wrong at the beginning because I need to get radishes, and there's a spice that I think it makes it like a sweet and sour radish, but I don't like radish. And I thought, what can I substitute it with? And I thought about water chestnuts. Don't know. You get sweet and sour water chestnuts?
Well, it's certainly from that style of cookery, like is it Chinese or Asian?
I think it's katsu. What's that? Chinese?
Katsu curries, Chinese. Yeah. That relates almost to what we would know as like a Chinese takeaway curry sauce. That's the sort of background flavours of a katsu curry. Generally served with like breaded chicken or whatever meat. It's like breaded with sauce. But they little kits, they're quite good. I don't really use them because
I don't either. But it was like, I thought, I'll give it a try, see what it's like. And the 2 curries that we've tried are fantastic, really, really good. But I have the ingredients in the house. Now I'm starting to get to that point where I've not got the ingredients in the house, but I have for this one. Apart from, I don't like radish, and I thought, well, I managed to get some water chestnuts. So I thought, well, I'm just going to try it out then. So sweet and sour water chestnuts, that's what we're having.
No, that sounds good. I mean, curry is one of the amazing things. I was talking to Craig, their host here. I've got a cooking blog for takadal, which is just a sort of a lentil dish, and that's just basically a lightly spiced lentil curry that can be eaten with bread or with a spoon, whatever. And you need very few ingredients to make that. Going back to your point. And it's a staple diet of so many people, and it's something that can be tailored to your palate. So it's things like rice dishes, lentil dishes, things like that is really what I recommend people to try and maybe experiment with a little bit. Now we've got a wee bit more time on our hands in the kitchen. There's no excuse. That was everybody's excuse for not cooking properly. No, I've not got enough time, but now we do. So I think people should be trying to sharpen up their skills. well, we've got your contact details, and you can maybe follow us up with any other more specific questions when suits you. But there's lots of styles of cooking out there that maybe people should try to. Do any use of a favourite style of cooking or cuisine?
I like most things really, and I never stick to a recipe. That's just I've never have done. Do you know what I mean? And if I don't like it, I don't put it in.
Yes,
yeah, and one that just sort of change the subject slightly. One thing I was sort of thinking about: how do you, with restricted ingredients and things that people have got, how do you sort of try and ensure that you're getting your 5 a day?
Well, the 5 a day, I mean, if you don't have vegetables and fruit, then you're going to struggle. If you're in a situation where you're struggling to get a hold of ingredients, etc., then I don't really know the answer to that.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you can't really have.
But going back to what I was saying at the beginning, these weeds that are all grown in the woods and things like that, this is what this girl was saying. She had, I can't remember what weed it is she picked up. She says she uses it like spinach in her curries. And I wish I could remember. I'll Google it later on. But she was saying, don't go and buy all these rockets and things. She says it's all there on
Wild
the
garlic.
You may have been talking about wild garlic. Yeah,
I've done that.
I mean, there's lots out there. I'm not experienced enough as a forager to be able to advise you to go and pick certain things, but the information's out there. There is lots of things out there that you can pick for yourself. I wouldn't say it's one of my specialities, but certainly one of my interests. I'm always keen to find things. Wild garlic is one of the amazing things, but
yeah, it's good.
The window
past
is
now. I think it's past anyway.
No, it's certainly, if it's not away already, then it won't be long. Delicious.
I mean, we're quite lucky because I work at a community garden project in Tayport, and obviously we can't have that many people in the. Well, we've got a few volunteers just maintaining and at least getting some seeds planted, but we've put together growing packs for people to take home, so at least then they can have some vegetables, to grow at home, which then they can eat, like fast growing things as well, like radish, lettuce, all that sort of stuff.
Radish, I've seen Mandy's face change.
Yeah, sorry, Mandy.
Beetroot, all the floaty things. I got a seed kit from Marks and Spencer's. We spent so much money, so they gave us a seed kit, and it was for cress. And the cress grew in 6 days. The cress grew 6 blades of cress. That's what we got.
6. Oh my god!
Crazy.
Going to your point, Ali, I mean the whole people not having enough time to cook goes hand in hand with people not having enough time to grow their own vegetables. I mean, I don't have a garden. I've just got sort of a balcony space. I'm going to attempt to try and get things, because every year I've said I'm just going to get like one of the wee poly tents and just grow something on my balcony. But this year I'll better hurry up. But
you need to tie them down, tie it to your balcony. You'll blow away.
I've heard that. Third person that said that now, so I will ensure that I do that. Right. Is there any other cooking questions, or even yourself, Ali, if there's anything else you...
Just another thing. This is all linking to my project and what I have to do. I mean, I'm going to be looking more into cooking and like seed to plates and all that, hopefully when we get back, to do our normal sort of normal jobs. And another thing is about zero waste with food, because I've got to focus on like reducing our carbon footprint and focusing also on climate change and helping the climate, and through zero waste, especially with cooking. And if ingredients are scarce or your cupboards are, you've got to be precious with what you've got. It's just sort of any tips that you've got about how not to waste things and.
Right. I mean, that would maybe be something I would get back to you a little bit more in depth. I mean, you're speaking to the right people when you're talking about zero waste and things like that. we focus quite highly on the whole aspect of that, through energy advice, through food. I'll make sure I've got your contact details, and I'll speak to you a wee bit more in depth about that.
Fantastic.
There's lots of things, but for like, Mandy, it's in your hand.
No, I think it's fantastic, the stuff that gets churned out your kitchen. I keep looking at pictures of piles and piles of box. No, you know what I mean? Like, fantastic. I saw some of the bags coming into the Greener Kirkcaldy, and then later on you'll see blah, 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 vegetable curries or whatever that you've made and put into wee containers for people. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, we've just really stepped up our operation this week.
Yeah. All right.
So, like on Tuesday, we delivered to about 25 people. On the Wednesday, we supplied the food banks with 167 meals.
Wow.
Yeah, it's lovely.
There's going to
and
be
it's wholesome dinner. It's wholesome food.
Yeah, good food, yeah.
I've cooked it all myself with what I've managed to get my hands on, bought. So, no, it's great. I mean, I come from a restaurant background, so to be able to use what I can do to produce as much food as I can, it's great. And I feel like we are targeting the right people. That's the hardest bit for us, to make sure we can reach the people that maybe aren't getting reached. So we're doing our best in that front. The whole team, the Greener Kirkcaldy team, doing a great job.
Do you have anything to do with Linton Lane? I think that's what it's called.
Yep, Linton Lane.
Ah, right. Yeah.
That's one of the food banks that we supply food to on a Wednesday. So I think there's 2 food banks in Kirkcaldy that we supply for, Linton Lane and Beaufort. So it's all good. So we're looking to expand that further if we can, but our resources and logistics might restrict us to a limit, but we're trying as hard as we can to reach as far as we can. So, well, if you've got any more questions.
I wasn't prepared to ask questions, so I wasn't going to.
I wasn't either. I do apologise.
It's no problem at all. Well, what if you keep a wee eye on our social media and our website, there's taco dal recipe coming up, and cauliflower satay recipe coming up.
That sounds nice.
Cullen skink and things like that.
Cullen skink.
I've never tried that. Never tried it. No.
Lovely.
I worked in a restaurant for a head chef in a restaurant for 10 years, and that was the only dish that was on the menu for the whole 10 years.
Wow.
And where are you putting these recipes up?
Sorry?
Where do you put the recipes up?
They'll either come up on Facebook or they'll be on the websites under sort of food blogs.
All right.
It's not going to be just a recipe. It's going to give you a bit of background.
Yeah,
so,
that's fine.
Going back to what you said, Ali, about not using recipes, that's something I do strongly encourage. My thinking for the perfect recipe book would be just a list of ingredients and the method to go along. And as people sort of learn how much they like certain things, you can create your own recipes.
Yeah.
And that's a better way to evolve as a cook than just following a recipe. You need to start somewhere though. So some technical dishes, use the recipe as a starting point, then start to think for yourself how you if you like garlic, add more, blah blah blah. There's lots of ways adapting recipes to your palate. And at the end of the day, it's what you're going to be eating it. So it needs to taste what you want it to taste like. So now, when you go, that's a good thing to do. Well, if there's any other advice you want, but Ali, I'll definitely follow us up. Maybe
that would be great. I'd appreciate that, Ria.
Follow us up maybe on Monday. I'll try and get in contact.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you.
And is there anything extra, Mandy, you would maybe like to?
No, sorry. Unprepared.
You know where I am anyway.
Yeah. Are you actually cooking in Green Kirkcaldy?
Yeah, I have
You
been.
are.
in the
You've got the big
past
kitchen.
I have been in there myself for the last, well, the first couple of weeks of this, and now the kitchen's big enough to allow 1 or 2 more people in to help scale it up. So, so I'm in there most days, not all days. So,
good.
Well, have you got anything to say, Craig?
Well, just to say thank you both for coming, and I think it's always a good sign when I'm hungry at the end of these things. I'm thinking about wild garlic at the moment. Last time it was scallops, but it's wild garlic. It's always foraging, Ian. What's that?
I don't know.
Wild garlic's on my mind. Might go for a walk in the woods later on.
Just be careful. Make sure you know what it is.
Not too close to the path.
Yeah, good wash. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So we'll send out a wee survey afterwards just to get your thoughts on this and any ideas that you've got of other things that we could be doing. So keep an eye on your inbox. Oh, and just to say as well that the tarka dal recipe Ian was talking about is actually up on the website already. It's just in the news section. I've actually put the link in the chat box there if you manage to open the chat box before you log out.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for coming. And yeah, if you do want to find out more about Green Kirkcaldy and what we're doing, then you can always go on the website and sign up to the newsletter as well, and it all gets delivered into your inbox. But thanks very much.
Fantastic.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.